Jay, we're gonna do another Q&A episode, man.
Yeah,
Since these are so popular.
it's everybody's favorite. Literally, I mean, people ask a lot of questions, so you think someone would want to watch them, but I mean, I don't know.
You do a lot of the answering actually in the comments. So I think to be fair, you're hitting these as they come up. But there are a few people who are leaving us voicemails, which we actually really like because we don't get a lot of connection to the audience. Typing into the screen is one thing, but actually hearing from people who are listening to and watching our content's like actually pretty fun.
All right, Eric. The first question that came in on the speak pipe was from Jeff, and it's about pensions.
Hi, guys. Great show. Do either of you collect a pension? And if you do, how does that impact what your number was? And for those people who do have a pension, like my wife and I was wondering how you think that impacts what our magic quote unquote number would be. Thanks, guys. Great show. Keep it up.
So, Jason, this is kind of how I would approach it. If we think about the standard 4% rule when we're thinking about setting a FI number,
Yep.
right? With a pension, the value of the pension is somewhat undefined. We don't know exactly how much it's worth in terms of a sort of overall nest egg, right? Because it's just dependent on your overall lifespan. If you
Yeah,
live a long
most
time,
often.
it's worth a lot more, right? If you live a short period of time, it's worth a lot less. So I guess I would take that out of the equation and I would start to think about it as it relates to your annual spend. So if we take again the 4% rule and you think about setting a FI number based
Yeah.
on a certain annual budget. And the numbers that we're always kind of throwing around here are like, if you can live on $40,000 a year, you're going to take that annual spend, that 40,000, and multiply it by 25 using the 4% withdrawal rate rule. And that nets you a number of $1 million, right? So if we add the pension into this, I think the only thing that it changes is the calculus of, well, what is my annual spend and what is the gap that I need to fill here? So if the pension fills the entire annual spend, you have zero gap. If it fills 50% of the annual spend, then you have the other 50% to make up with it. And then it's really just a math problem based on the withdrawal rate that you want to use. And I think 4% now we're trending away from using that as the guideline. Is that correct?
Well, we certainly do and have been somewhat consistent. It is I won't say controversial point. It's a point of some disagreement. We certainly err towards the more conservative side from all of the modeling we've done, the things we've read, the trusted sources we follow. We tend to talk more about 3.25%, 3.5% withdrawal rate. But yeah, it's an individual question.
And especially with valuations being high like they are,
Precisely.
that's probably a safer figure. Big Earn, Karsten Yeske, has a great sort of very highly developed model showing probabilities and withdrawal rates and all of these things as they relate to the current context of what the markets are doing today.
That's right.
So that's probably a good thing to refer to and think about when you're trying to set that withdrawal rate. But if you're setting withdrawal rate around, 3 and a third%, something like that, your multiplier is not going to be 25. It's going to be more like 30 or 30.3, whatever, depending on the rate that you choose, the gap that you're trying to fill there, the multiplier will be different, and therefore your FI number will be different. But I think the pension is actually fairly simple to solve. And actually, if we go back to Big Earn's spreadsheet, he has a spreadsheet where he, calculates out receiving some amount of Social Security, and Social Security is a form of a pension, right? It's just a fixed income that's going to happen the rest of your life. And so I think that's, if you want to see how he models it out, that might be a great resource. And you're just going to model it out from the beginning of your retirement or whenever you start taking the pension. So I think fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I think so too. Totally agree with everything you said. Another resource for people to look at would be, harkening back to an earlier episode of ours when we talked about Fritz Gilbert over at the Retirement Manifesto. He had a section on calculating your retirement paycheck, and there was a tool in there where, in similar fashion, you chart out the different streams of income that you may have, whether it's passive income, Social Security, a pension, and all of that together will give you that value of over time, how much am I going to have? And then, as you pointed out, what's the delta I have to cover to completely meet my expenses? So pretty straightforward, but common enough. So clearly something many people are thinking about.
Pension. I wish I had a pension, man.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, like anything, there's trade-offs with everything. Often pensions are associated with either, civic jobs or other things where maybe the path of advancement is different. Perhaps the overall salary structure is different from a company job. But yeah, absolutely. Where pensions are available, many people are very happy to take advantage of them because they provide a very important source of income.